Yo, what's up, guys? Joker here back again with another day, giving us another sneak peek of what we are going to get in Leagues 4. We have the passive effects to go over and the combat relics to go over. I completely missed a day, so I'm going to be combining 2 days into one. It's a good thing that the passive effects isn't super much, and I'm going to be talking more about the combat relics. So let's go ahead and get that passive effects out of the way real quick, right? So on top of getting the normal EXP boost and unlimited run energy, we're going to be receiving 3, 5, and then 8 times minigame points. This is mainly going to only be effective if you decide to go ahead and go as Garnia. I was looking around, right? And I can't really think of another minigame that you gather points or where this would really be helpful. So, I mean, if you're going Asgarnian and you need the Void, this is going to make that grind significantly faster. But then we have Slayer points being 5 times, which is really good, actually. I love this one because superior rates go from 1 in 200 to 1 in 50 as well. So we get pretty much 4 times more superiors and we get 5 times the Slayer points. And in case you're unfamiliar with the best skill in the game, the Slayer shop is going to be the thing that makes you infinite money on top of the fact that it's going to set you up with almost all the gear you're going to need to progress through the entire league, right? You're going to be able to get things like Ruin Pouch, Herb Sack, Looting Bag for free from the Slayer shop, on top of the fact that Slayer creatures are some of the best creatures to kill in the game, and the bosses that come alongside them are indefinitely going to have challenges and tasks tied to them. So this is a really good one. I really like this. Then we got clue scrolls drop as stackable boxes. This does carry over with the drop rate, I believe. We get a 2, 3, 4, and then 5 times drop rate as well. And I believe this is going to impact clue scroll drop rates as well. Honestly, in the past leagues, there have been relics where leagues were made OP or it made them super easy. I've never been a clue scroll person, so I care very, very, very little about this. There probably are going to be some tasks to do like X amount of clues or fill out so many collection log slots from clue scrolls, right? So, I mean, this is helpful for knocking off tasks, but besides that, the clue scroll items aren't really going to be that great. And then, like I just mentioned, drop rate 2, 3, 4, and 5 times the drop rate. This is going to make it amazingly easy for us to actually grind out a bunch of things. Like, I remember in the last Trailblazers, there was like getting items from the God War dungeon bosses, right? That was a task. And if we have a 5 times drop rate now, that's going to be super easy. On top of the fact that getting any drop from anything is just going to be 5 times easier. See, like I was mentioning, short and sweet. It's kind of the passive effects are kind of self explanatory, right? Where you kind of know what it's going to do and how it's going to benefit you. There's nothing really theory crafty or really much to think about in that aspect with the aspects. But it is really cool that we do get the unlimited run, plus we're getting the boosted points, boosted drop rate. It's seeming like it's going to be a really, really fun league. See, short and sweet. So, getting that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump over to combat relics and let's have melee be our first one that we go over. I went ahead and gathered some examples. So, melee weapons with attack speed 4 or above will have that stat halved and rounded down. Melee weapons with attack speed 3 or below will have that stat halved and rounded up. Immune to all status effects, including but not limited to poison, venom, and fire breath, with the exceptions of stuns and roots, blah, blah, blah. 10% chance to deal a critical strike on successful melee hit, dealing double damage. Melee accuracy is increased by 50%, and melee ranged and magic defense is all increased by 50%. fairly cool, fairly well balanced, I'd say. Some examples, depending on regions that you choose, are going to be like if you get the desert, the Fang is going to go from a 5 tick weapon to a 2 tick weapon. That seems pretty insane. Like a 2 tick Fang with already how hard and accurate that thing hits with 50% more accuracy. Like that's oh my god. And then we have the scythe is also becoming a 2 tick weapon. That's if you choose Mauritania. And then the only other thing that I could really think of is God swords would become a 3 tick weapon if you get Asgarnia, right? There is a whip as well, which it would go down to a. What would it go down to actually? Would it go down to a 2 tick weapon? Yeah. So a whip becomes a 2 tick weapon as well. So melee seems very really viable if you plan on going regions where you can get a lot of melee stacking gear. So if you go like the desert and you get the Fang, I see that being really strong. Apart from that, other regions, the Fremnik region, that way you can go ahead and get the face guard as well as the Berserker ring. Um, and then I think you would have to go as Garnia as well for a fighter torso, or I mean, Bandos chestplate, right? Sorry, I misspoke. It's going to be Ardoin for the fighter torso, but I've been looking at this, right? And if you go melee, you kind of don't get a choice of regions. You have to go like Kandarin, Asgarnia, and Fremnik because you're going to need the face guard and the rings. You're going to need the defenders, D boots, primordials. On top of that, you're going to be able to get the Zenites and piety, right? So you kind of just have to go at least Kandarin as Garnia. You don't need to go Fremnik as the third for sure, but it does give you the best in slot helmet and the Berserker's ring. So it's kind of like a pseudo hat. Well, yeah. Okay, with melee out of the way, I'm sorry, I went on too much of a tangent and I want this to be a relatively short video. So, up next, we have the Superior Sorcerer Relic, which is going to be the Mage Relic. And in my opinion, this one seems to be just the brokenest relic, right? This seems way overtuned. I have a feeling they're either going to buff the other two or nerf this one because this just gives you so much. So let's take a look. Magic weapons with attack speed 4 or above will have it halved and rounded down. So that means that the Tumikin Shadow, Trident of the Swamp, and a Sang Staff all become 2 tick weapons, right? Now, these are all in different regions. You're going to have to get Tumikins from Desert, the Sang Staff from Mauritania, and then the Trident from Kandarin, right? So even if you don't choose one of these, all three of these, you're going to be choosing one of these indefinitely, right? On top of the fact that you save 90% of your runes when you're casting spells, and that counts for charges on the staffs. So that's a huge quality of life right there. Bind spells will always hit an unfrozen target, which is fucking insane. Think about like Nightmare Musfa or Scorpia or anything that you really freeze the boss and just keep it out of melee distance, right? So that's really, really strong there. Acquire Arcane Grimoire. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that word again. Acquire a book that allows you to change the spell book so you get the tier 99 spellbook swap from the cape as just a passive for free. You get a free rune pouch, and all rune pouches can store 2 more slots. So this means the upgraded rune pouch that you get from TOA is going to hold 6 different types of runes. That's insane. That's more than enough. You had more than enough with the 4. So that's insane. Magic attacks deal an additional 25% damage as splash damage to surrounding targets up to 5 additional targets. Once again, huge, insane, especially because of the fact that you're getting a 175% increased accuracy and a 20% damage. This makes your barrages like just destroy packs of mobs super easy. Like this is overtuned. This gives too much in my opinion. This is the one 90% of people are going to choose. And we go from an extreme high to an extreme low because I feel like this is going to be the least chosen relic. This one just seems the most underwhelming no matter how I look at it. So, ranged weapons with an attack speed of 4 or above, halved, with an attack speed of 3 or below, halved, and same thing, right? Same thing as the other two. Except for this has 90% of ammunition is saved. This effect does stack with the AOE devices, saving up to 98% of charges, chinchampas, darts, all of that. Okay, yeah, that's really cool, but that's not really enough for like its own relic. Like, why would you still choose this? Enchanted bolts have a 2% a 2 times boosted chance to proc. So with diaries and everything, I think this is still only getting you to like a 10 or a 12% chance for the bolts to proc. It's really low. If anything, no, I think it is like a 10 or 12% chance to proc bolts. So it's not enough. And then 10% chance that your weapon will fire an additional projectile. Once again, pretty cool, but not enough. This needs to be like a 25 or a 30% chance, and this needs to be with a damage increase, right? Ranged accuracy is increased by 100%. Cool, but magic gets a damage bonus. Why doesn't range? Since yeah, I don't know. Some niche cases that I went ahead and I pulled up are going to be the twisted bow, right? The twisted bow is going to become a 2-tick weapon. Buffa is going to become a 2-tick weapon. Blowpipe's going to become a 1-tick weapon, and crossbows are pretty much going to become a 2-tick weapon as well. That being said, if we go over the regions, you're going to need Zaya for the twisted bow. You're going to need what else? Oh, you're going to need Tierra Wind for the toxic blowpipe and the Bofa, and then for the Zarite crossbow, you're going to need what? Kandarin again, right? Because no, you're gonna need Asgarnia for the God War dungeon for next, and I think whatever drops, and you're going to need. I need to look up what drops dragon crossbow limbs. Okay, I was just making sure. I thought it was the ruined inanimate dragons, but I just wanted to make sure before I said it. So yeah, you're going to need Zaya anyways. So if you want anything like a Zarite crossbow, you're going to need to have Zaya and Asgarnia as two of your locks, two of your regions indefinitely, because otherwise you won't be able to get the material to actually make the crossbow. You'd be much better off going for, well, I mean, you could, if you go Zaya, you can also get twisted bow. So there is like a double meaning, and Zaya is really huge, but we're not talking about that. So this is the most underwhelming relic out of the three. That's what we're talking about. Hopefully we see a couple of tweaks and or changes before the league actually gets here, because right now it would look something like this, right? Mage, melee, range. That's the order that people are going to choose them. People always have personal preference on combat styles and stuff like that, but just on overall overpoweredness, you get a free ruin pouch, you get free spell book swap, you get free AoE, you get free damage, you get free sustain of ruins. Like, this is just the best hands down. This is second best. I mean, I may make like a second character and have them go melee, and I just have them be like a meat shield and bosses for me, because that's the only thing that this really has. Additionally, I mean, the immune to poison and venom is kind of cool, but if you go tier win and you get like a serpentine visage, you're already immune to that. So yeah, what are you gonna do? But that's just it. Hopefully this video didn't take forever. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.